All right, so in this video, I wanted to go just deeper into what I do for baking heads now. And it's a little bit different. I think this is simple. This is the best, easiest way. Everyone should bake this way. I'm kind of going against what we said in the bake video, but I still like to have people understand that you can update the model, that you can re-import, that you can bake. I think that's really important for people to know. But I want to show you the way that we can bake heads. Now, we can bake a head actually in ZBrush to get our normal map, and then we will not have any of the interference of the lips, eyes, anything else, because uniquely, remember, the head is the low poly, right? The subdivision level 1 is the low poly, and it's UV'd and everything. That's what you need to be able to do this. The same mesh is, the UV'd mesh is high and low. So because the high and low are the same, we can use a plugin called Multi-Map Exporter. It's made for making all these fancy maps. This was made and used for films and VFX and stuff, but you can export all kinds of things from here that are useful. And I've done cavities too, for later on when you're doing the texturing. But right now we want to get a normal map, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to bake a normal map in ZBrush and we're going to get it in Painter. So that's what we'll do. You go in here, what map do you want? Normal map. Flip V should already be on. We need that because of ZBrush being weird. You know, you could even bake this at 8K if you wanted to, which is pretty cool. But we'll just do 4, which is still a lot right now. Just showing you how I would do it. Now we'll open the export options. So it's going to show you the options for the different maps. You can see here's the different options. Here's normal map. Okay, what subdivision level are we going to be applying the normal map to? Okay, in this case, 1. What kind of normal map? Tangent space. Do we want to do adaptive? Yeah, just always do adaptive. That just makes it more detailed. Sorry, I should probably pin this. Here we go. Now we're over here. So we have tangent, adaptive, smooth UVs. No, we don't want to change UVs. Smooth normals. Yes. What does that do? Well, when you would traditionally bake in other ways, like in the Substance Painter way, you would make the low poly model and then you would soften the normals in Maya or something, or another DCC, and export it to bring it in to bake. So because we can't do that exact thing in ZBrush, they have a little button here, so it'll smooth your normals on the way out. All right, so do we need to switch in these channels? No. Do we need to flip anything? Yes, we actually need to flip the green channel. And that's so the normal map will be correct. So the green channel is coming from the bottom. So these settings should work. And then we'll just create all maps, go to my textures folder, head ZBake, sure, hit save. Let's go, and then we'll cut to it being done. And boom, there we go. Map created. Here we are in Substance Painter. We don't got anything. So normally we would bake in here, right? We come in here and we would bake everything in here with all the high polys. Well, let's not do this time. Go back to painting mode, and we're actually going to bring normal map in. We'll add resources. I will select the texture I just exported, and now I'm going to define it as a texture. So it'll show up in my texture drawer, and then I'll put it in the project Shaman. That's my project. Cool, there it is. And then I'll drag it over here on the normal map. Why it has to load, I don't know. Maybe it's storing it on the GPU or something. Boom, normal map. Look, perfect, done. But hey, what about all this other stuff? Yeah, well, here's a brain teaser for you. Check this out. So let's uncheck normal because we already got that. We don't need an ID. All right, for ambient occlusion, we'll just leave this for now. For curvature, you see it says method generate from mesh. You can actually have it do from the normal map. Oh, cheaty. Position and thickness, we can just have it bake that too. There we go. So let's bake these and see what we got. Before we bake, let's see the general. Okay, 4096, super assembly 16, okay. By mesh name. We don't need that now. We're just gonna bake everything in this case. So let's just do a straight up 16x 4K bake. Should be fine here. Give it a go. So you can see it just generated that curvature map from the normal map. You can see the ambient occlusion is suffering from that same problem that we had. So opening the mouth would be the solve if you're gonna do ambient occlusion all in Substance. You could bake the ambient occlusion in ZBrush, just like the normal map though, and bring that in if you want. But also for me, like, I don't think the mouth should have, you know, the same ambient occlusion all the time, because, you know, when they talk, you don't want the shadows to kind of stick there. So I probably would just fix this in the AO here, because that's the only, you know, I could just fix this in the AO. So it'd be easy for me just to paint some stuff out, make it simple. I don't think we need all that. I don't even know if I want the AO in the lip wrinkles. I might just honestly wipe all this out, because in this case with the skin, we want the light to penetrate, and it's not exactly going to have a lot of deep shadows. So I don't think I'm going to utilize AO here. So I think this is just a lot more direct way to just straight up get a normal map, get the other maps you need, and then you're off to the races. But it is very unique to the head, but I wanted to share that just in case, because this is how I do heads now, because it's so much faster and easier. All right, I think we're finally done baking. Let's return to painting mode. There we go. We'll go through our mesh maps. We have our normal, obviously. And then we have world space, which is baked. ID, we don't bake that. Ambient occlusion baked in here. Little problem, no problem. We can paint that out. I actually just don't want all this detail in the AO for my lips. So that's okay for me. I can paint out this little issue too. Curvature is generated from the normal map, which we got from ZBrush. And I think that's kind of a benefit. You just get, you know, all this little detail, and you can turn this into a cavity. And like I mentioned, you can actually bake out a cavity from ZBrush, which you could bring in the same way and just use it as a mask in a layer. And then our position map, which is baked here in Substance, so we can use any kind of position. And then the thickness, which sometimes we use for SSS, or you know, use it just for some other effects too. It's just nice to have. So there you go. Just a lot simpler, easier than opening the mouth and doing the whole rigmarole. There you go. That's baking ahead.